Hello and welcome back to another video. As you can tell by the title, I have graduated from university. And I just wanted to make a video to mark the end of university and mark the end of my first, second and third year at university videos that I have made. So in this video I will discuss my favourite project, my best photos and whether or not I think it's worth it to go to university, particularly for photography. So let's just get right into the video and I'll start off with my favourite project. And without a doubt, my favourite project from the past 3 years definitely has to be my yearbook project that I done for my course. Over the course of around 6 months, I took over 40 portraits on large format film using my Intrepid 4x5. I used Ilford HP5, FP4 and Delta 100 for all of these photos and they just came out amazing. This was a long project in terms of university projects, and that was entirely due to the availability of studios and whether or not my peers were free. I did also have some problems developing, as right at the start of this project the machine developers actually broke down, but that problem resolved itself relatively quickly. Later on in the project I also had some issues with light leaks, marks on my film and some more developing issues, so in total it was closer to 50 or 60 sheets of film. But in total just over 40 photos worked and were completely usable, but I had to narrow that down to 1 photo per student and that ended up being 22 photos since I couldn't photograph 1 student, otherwise it would be 23. I also used my Fujifilm GFX 50S and the Meticon 65mm 1.4 to get individual portraits of my lecturers and then a group shot of them all together. Once I had all the photos that I needed, I then started designing the yearbook with help from my partner Jen. She then done a drawing for each of the lecturers and also all of the students and they just turned out great. And finally, once everything was designed and done, I printed enough copies for each of the lecturers and each of the students using a printing service here in the UK called Mixam. And I couldn't be happier with how this project has turned out, and bear with me a second, I'll go get the yearbook. Here is the yearbook. I think it's just turned out amazing, and I think the doodles of each of the students and the lecturers have just elevated it to, you know, something better than I could ever do. I'll have to quickly clip you onto my beanie because it's too heavy to be on here and it just flops down. But as you can see, I've got like a big page for each of the students and it's just really cool to look at and see. And then later on in the book, there's just a bunch of candid portraits of, you know, each of the students. And yeah, I just absolutely love how this has, you know, turned out. There's just so much. We've got like a whole who's most likely to section. It's just so cool. Also, we have the Fallen, which is 5 people who have left the course. Yeah, I just love how this has turned out. You know, we got more doodles. You know, each of my lecturers. There's 5 in total. There's more. And there's the group shot that I was talking about, which I really like. And then we've got every single student, which is like a lot of drawings to do, and I'm so thankful that Jen done all that because I would have not been able to make this without her. But anyway, it was just super rewarding to see all of my hard work and Jen's hard work turn into something physical that I'm going to keep for years and years and years. Anyway, moving on to my favourite photos, I'm going to do this in a top 5 format and I'm only going to include photos that were part of projects. And number 5 has to go to this one of Carter for my yearbook project. It was one of the first studio shoots that I'd done for this project and I just love how it turned out. Even though I was shooting quite wide open and this was relatively close up, I somehow managed to nail focus and it's just so sharp and has so much detail. And I think number 4 has to be the group portrait that I done for all my lecturers once again in the yearbook project. It's not an amazing photo by any means, but it's just a special photo to me as these are the people that have taught me throughout these 3 years at university. And this was the last photo that I took for that project and I thought it was just a nice way to, you know, finish that project and finish university. I think number 3 has to go to this portrait of Megan that I shot for my tattoo and piercing project that I shot alongside my yearbook project. I just really like how this photo came together, like the colours, lighting, composition, subject matter, and the pose just all work so well together and produce a lovely image. And it's probably my favourite photo from that project. Number 2 has to go to this one of my brother standing in front of his Nissan Cedric that I shot for the 5-part portfolio at the start of 3rd year. It's at number 2 not only because I love how the photo looks, but just because it was a nice day catching up with my brother. There's not much more to say, I just think it's a really nice photo and I like how it looks super 3D thanks to the shallow aperture of the Miticon, and it's just a nice memory of a good day. Now number 1 is a tie between 2 photos, and I just can't decide which one I like more, so I think they both deserve to tie at number 1. And the first one is this one here of my old college lecturer Simon that was part of the People and Passions multimedia project that we had to do at the start of 2nd year. Long story short, I created a video about Simon and his hobby of 8x10 large format wet plate collodion photography, and I ended up getting his portrait right at the end of the shoot day. If you want, you can go and watch this video on my YouTube channel, I'll link it here. It was actually one of the first videos I posted when I started regularly uploading. And the second photo that's tied for number 1 place is this photo here of Anya and Nelly, which I'm just now realising wasn't actually a part of any project. So I guess it can't really be tied for number 1 place, but I'm still going to show it as it's just one of my favourite photos I've ever taken. I for some reason thought it was part of my 5-part portfolio, but I remember using my RB on this day and I only got my RB in February, which was over a month after I handed in for that project. But anyway, I shot this on my Intrepid 4x5 and I just love how it turned out. Now to finally finish the video and tell you if I think it's worth going to university to study photography or not, and the quick answer is yes. And if you want the slightly longer answer, then that is obviously yes again, but because of a few reasons. And the first reason is because of the people that you meet. When you're in school or you're in college and you're really invested in photography, it can sort of make you feel left out sometimes if your classmates aren't as interested as you are. I definitely felt this when I was in college, as I pretty much lived and breathed photography. Luckily, I was able to nerd out about stuff with my teacher Simon, but when it came to people that were my age, I couldn't really do that. However, when I joined university, I was surrounded by people that were as interested in photography as me, and I was finally able to nerd out about it with people my age. I was able to bounce ideas around and just have long conversations about different photographers or certain images, and it was just really nice to be able to connect with people in that way. And I'm hoping I'm going to be able to stay in contact with these people for a long time, as they are all just amazing people. And the second reason is the connections that you can gain in the industry. Personally, I haven't really benefited from this that much, but that is entirely on me. I just didn't really put myself out there that much, especially compared to other people, but that's because I didn't really want to. However, many people on the course have managed to get jobs or gigs with like major companies or people, thanks to the connections that they have made in the form of our lecturers. If you join a photography course at university, you can expect to have some lecturers teaching you that have some amazing connections within the industry, and they will be more than happy to share those with you. And guest lecturers are also amazing. I haven't really attended that many at my time in university, but the ones I have attended, they've just left me feeling inspired, and I've got to meet some great photographers. I do sort of wish that I put myself out there more and try to get more connections within the industry, but I'm not really that mad about it, since my portfolio is all over the place and it's not very desirable for, clientele. Like, companies and people usually want a cohesive portfolio that has a good theme, but mine's sort of all over the place and messy. But anyway, the third reason I think it is worth it is because of the sheer amount of equipment that is at your disposal if you join a university that has a good photography department. When I was in college, I had access to a Mamiya RZ67, a few Canon DSLRs, an Epson V850 scanner or something along those lines, a studio, and I genuinely didn't think it could get any better than that. But when I joined Falmouth University, I suddenly had access to over £3 million worth of equipment, and I've actually got a list written down here of just some of the things that I had access to. I had access to a bunch of Mamiya RZ67s, Mamiya 7s, Hasselblads, top-of-the-line mirrorless and DSLR cameras, digital medium format cameras, large format cameras, many studios with professional lighting, and I mean many, massive dark rooms, both colour and black and white, machine processing rooms where you just put your film in a machine and it just, spits out for you and it's just perfectly done. Where was I? Top of the line computer setups and even multiple £30,000 Hasselblad scanners, and like I said, that's just to name a few. It really was crazy to have access to all that stuff, and even though I use the facilities quite often, I still feel like I should have used them more. And I could probably name a few more reasons as to why I think university is worth it, but I don't really want this video to be any longer than it is now, since I have been recording for 25 minutes, so this is going to be quite a long video. So I'm going to end this video here, but just before I go, if any of my peers from university are watching, I just want to say thank you for making the last 3 years so fun and enjoyable. I hope your careers bloom, and I hope you continue to make great work. I'm especially looking at you, Matt Morgan, because I reckon you're going to be a big time photographer. But anyway, thank you for watching, I hope you've all enjoyed, I'll see you in the next one, goodbye.